another sunny day.
Hey guys, welcome back to Yellow Shoelaces. I did it. I finally got to see Sinners. And I have to say, I know some of you are going to not like what I say about this movie, but underwhelmed. I was underwhelmed. So yeah, we're going to get into this. I am here. I am having some champagne with a little bit of pineapple mango juice. It's pretty tasty. I think the mango didn't have to be added in the pineapple juice, but it's what they had. So sipping on that. And next few days it's going to be a little chilly in the 50s. For me, 50s are like winter now. I'm kind of over it. I need 75 and just some straight up sun. I am tired of 50s, and we're going to get back into the 60s again after, I think, Thursday. It's going to be high 60s, some 70s, low 70s. I'm just tired. I want 75 permanently. Why can't we have just like a forever summer? I'm ready for forever summer. Today is only Tuesday. Why does it feel like Friday already? And not in a good way. It's like I feel like I've done a whole week at life and I'm just exhausted. I'm exhausted. I yeah, rough start, the beginning of this week. I'm sure you guys know that New Jersey had the strike. They ended it today. Thank God. It was chaotic for those couple of days that they were striking. I'm telling you, it was just madness, the anxiety. I feel like I need to be rewarded and not just with cookies and Coca Cola. I need to be rewarded with, like, I don't know, a vacation to maybe Aruba or somewhere like that, just to kind of de-stress. I need a little vacation to get away from this. It's only Tuesday. It is only Tuesday. I hope the rest of you are having an amazing week. I made it through. Tomorrow is Wednesday, my favorite day of the week. Looking forward to that. Cannot wait. It seems to me that most Wednesdays, there's a lot of good things that happen. For me, anyway. And it is my favorite day. So maybe I kind of go out of my way to make good things happen. So, yeah, that's it. Today's only Tuesday. It's only Tuesday. And the champagne is not helping. All right, guys, let's get into this movie. I heard people, just rave about this movie. It was like the best thing since sliced bread. I don't know. I don't know. I went in with very little information. I mean, I already knew that it wasn't a straight up vampire movie. I knew that. But the way they were going on about this movie, I'm going to see it a second time because there were some things that you missed in there. You got to catch it. Nah, 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 nah. That's my way of saying that they were just yapping. So, you guys know, first and foremost, I'm at the theater for the popcorn. That's the first thing. Movie second, popcorn first. So, yes, I did have my large popcorn. Did have that, absolutely delicious. Movie starts. I Oh, before I get into the movie, I do want to tell you guys that did not see it in theaters, and I don't even know if you've seen these previews, but of course, they have a Tom Cruise Mission Impossible coming out again. It looks really, really good. I want to see that. They have a movie also with Brad Pitt coming out. It looks quirky, cute, and they also have this movie coming out. It's called Roses. It's supposed to be like this modern day take on War of the Roses, about this couple kind of, at each other's throat, going through some turmoil. I think like getting ready to head for divorce type thing. But it looks really cute and funny and quirky. So I think it's called Roses. So if you get a chance, check that out. Where are we? Okay, the movie. So here we go. Please just bear with me. If you love the movie, that's on you. I'm just telling you what I thought of it. I'm going to give you a little summary. So when it first starts, Michael B. Jordan, amazing actor. I think he's awesome. It honestly took me like a minute and a half to realize that he was playing two roles. I'm like, I know that other guy from somewhere. Hello, it's Michael B. Jordan. I think he's a great actor. Totally. I think he was awesome in this. I think the only movie that I've seen him in that I was kind of like, ugh, it was a little rough around the edges was the Creed movies. I'm sorry, not Creed. It was the Wakanda. I loved him in Creed. That's what I'm gonna say. I loved him in Creed, but the Wakanda movie, I feel like he was just kind of coming into Michael B. Jordan. I don't know. I don't know. It felt like overacting. And that's just my take on it. The Wakanda movie was, I love the Wakanda movie, but I just felt like his role in there was overacty. That's a real word. I didn't really like him in that. I didn't. And that's just me. But, and everything else, especially Creed, I thought he was spot on, spot on. He did an amazing job in this movie here in Sinners. Absolutely. The whole cast, honestly, great. It was watchable. It was watchable. Who else was in there? Delroy Lindo, another great actor. I love him in everything. I don't think I've ever seen him in a bad movie. I love him in everything. The rest of the cast, also great, great, great. But those two, hands down, my favorite. Now, it starts off giving us a little history, with the Michael B. Jordan's role. He's coming in, him and his brother. They've done some things clearly. They're running from the law. Apparently we find out later that they, possibly robbed some people. We are taken into this place where we meet Sammy, and I think his name is Miles Caton. He was pretty good too. I liked him, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I was a little confused. I was confused because like his dad is like, look, I brought you up in a church, and I'm assuming he thinks like this guitar and the music that his son plays is the devil's music. That's what I'm taking from it. It's the devil's music. You don't want to be in a joint where, people are just kind of like bumping and grinding and doing all sorts of, ungodly things, drinking and all that jazz. And I kind of get that. But his son is like, look, this is what I love to do. And I want to go and I want to play the blues and I want to do what I love to do. I don't really want to just praise in a church. Like I have other interests, not just out here picking cotton and all that jazz. We're not doing all of that. No way. So, we get to meet, the boys played by Michael B. Jordan, Smokestack. So we get to meet them. Now, I mean, if we were to think that, you know, it's like a good versus evil sort of thing, I don't know if that was going on. I know it's kind of touching on, us black folk growing up, dealing with our spirituality because you had a little voodoo in there. I guess you would assume she's a priestess of some sort. This would be Annie, and she was played by Wunmi Mosaku, is her name. So we had a little bit of magic in there. I'm not calling it black magic, but magic of some sort, spiritual stuff. And so it just seemed like the movie was jumping around a lot for me. Again, it was watchable, but it was just jumping around a lot. So I'm taking it that when people who told me about the movie said that they would have to see it again because it was some things that they missed. Maybe this is why they have to see it a second time to kind of get what was happening. I'm sorry, guys. That's my cat, Bailey. She's just being a maniac right now. I guess maybe that's why they have to see it again. I felt really confused. And I felt like, once I left the theater, I was just like thinking of exactly what story was being told. I didn't get it. And again, I went in knowing that it wasn't completely about vampires. And, they saved that part towards the end. And I don't think they rushed it. I was speaking to someone else and they felt like the end was really rushed. I didn't feel like they rushed it. It was a great build up to that part. And it was what it was. Again, I don't feel like it was rushed, but it was what it was. So, this good and evil thing, I'm taking it as a good and evil thing. But when I look at, Stack and Smoke, for me, I feel like they were the devil because they came into town after, possibly robbing people, getting this money to even start this club, gathering all these people, giving them options that they normally would not have had. And I don't even know if they wanted to even be involved because you see the one guy who kind of like, left, his work picking cotton with his wife, presented with an opportunity, his wife's pregnant. And they're like, look, we're offering you like, a crap load of money. And we really just want you to, guard the door. You come in here, you're our security. And he was like, look, I got a family, but that temptation, the money. So for me, Stack and Smoke was kind of like the devil and devil angel sort of thing. One good, one bad. So while in the club, before all of the craziness happened, the guitar player, Sammy, was given an option by, I think it was, I want to say Stack. Like, I don't want you in here. This is crazy. You have too much to lose. You're a good kid. You need to stay on a straight and narrow. But now he's already caught up. These are his cousins. No, I love this life. This is what I wanted. He had a taste, you know. Now, the Irish thing, I'm guessing maybe because, there was suffering, with the Irish back in the day too. So maybe they kind of connected that with, slavery. Not that, they could really, connect that with slavery because, we all know slavery was harsh. But, they had their own set of issues as Irish. They had their own set of issues. So I'm feeling like maybe they were just trying to connect that we were both the people of suffering. I'm trying here. I don't really know where that was going. I'm being honest. I don't know where that was going. I will tell you what I didn't like. I know that, African music is the soul of what we know now, the music. We know like house music is derived from gospel, the beat, the movement, the feel of it. I thought that montage was like really long and some of it was unnecessary. I think that there was one part where, you had like girls twerking and all that. I mean, if they would have just stuck with the gospel and the African dance, I would have been okay with that. It would have fit, and I know, culturally we are people of music through beats and sound and, rhythm, especially, the humming and things like that. But I thought that montage for me, I thought that montage was a bit much. It was kind of unnecessary even. It was a lot unnecessary. So I didn't really like that part. And again, I'm sitting through it. I don't think there was really a lot of moments where I felt like, oh, I can't take this. I want to walk out. There weren't many of those moments. And the moment I just talked about that montage of the dance, that was probably the most major moment where I felt like, oh, like I don't even need to see all this. Like this needs to end right now because I was over that. There was a part where, what's her name? Grace. I think her name is Lee Jun Lee. She played Grace. Now, I get, again, it's a movie, but clearly you are in the Delta, you're in the South, you're Asian, but you're Southern. Let's just get it straight. And you come in because you want to make money, so you agree to do signs for them. You're part of the, scene. But when all of this starts taking place, oh, I want to jump to a part two. There was a young lady in there too, and what is her name? She played Mary. Her name is Haley Steinfeld. So she played the person who I guess had relations with, I want to say, Stack. And I thought her character was really unnecessary because clearly we see she's trying to tell a story. I felt like they could have went into that story a little bit more. Her mother raised these boys, but we don't really get the history of it. Her mother died. She was down there. She buried her mother. They just seemed uninterested. I just feel like they didn't really kind of like tell that story. I would have, liked to hear more of that story. We get that she liked him, they, messed around a little bit. He left her, and I guess he gave a half-assed explanation, like, well, we would have never been because, your passing is white, I'm black. It just would not have worked. So that's why, I cut ties with you. But, I would have liked to know more about their story and, the mom, how they came to be with her, what it was like growing up. So I felt like they could have, talked a little bit more about that. So that was kind of like and I don't even really feel like her character was necessary in that movie either. Again, that was another moment of just, this is kind of unnecessary because she just seemed useless to the story, whatever story they were trying to tell with all this. Because again, I felt like they were just jumping around. Um, what else? I'm gonna say so we're gonna go back to Grace. Now, again, Southern woman, you know what's up, and we know that voodoo. We kind we kind of know from the story that they all heard of these things happening. Someone told stories, so they knew. Now, if you're presented with a devil, a vampire, and we know the story, you don't invite them in. So I know you're frantic. You've already seen that your husband turned. You've seen it. So I just don't understand what kind of hope she may have had. You're worried about your daughter, but to invite this demon in this place where, they should not have been because you're that angry. I just don't understand what you thought you could have done. That part was a little crazy to me. I figured it would be a little more realistic. Like, look, we need to come up with a plan to keep these people out. And again, it's not going to be long term. They're vampires, they'll just come and get you later, after sunlight. But I felt like that was a little crazy. Like, you're so mad. You've seen your husband turn. You're worried about your daughter. What can you do? What can you do? And then you invite them in expecting a fair fight. Talk about bringing a knife to a gunfight. Lady, that was crazy to me. Super, 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 super crazy. So, yeah, I don't even really know what else to say. I mean, I stayed, after the credits. I seen this scene where, you know, um, Stack and I think it was Stack. It might have been Smoke. Don't get me wrong. I don't even know anymore. I think it was one of them. So they come in with Mary. It's like the 90s now. I'm guessing 80s and 90s. And so they see Sammy, who's an older gentleman now, still playing, but apparently one of the brothers promised the other one, he wouldn't kill him because he wanted Sammy to like live to old age, die natural causes. Oh God. From that, I took it's going to be a part two. I already assumed that this is going to be a part two. It I don't even know because it was just this dialogue that was going back and forth just seemed really unnecessary. So apparently I missed another scene after that went off. There was more credits in another scene, and it was an indicator that there was going to be a part two, a stronger indicator that there was going to be a part two. I don't know. I know that I'm not going to watch the part two. And for whatever it is that I missed and the way they were going on, the people telling me about the movie were going on, so they were going to see it again because, you have to see it again to catch things that you missed. Again, they probably seen it because the second time because they were confused. But I will tell you this, I will not sit through that movie again. It was watchable. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I hate the movie. It was watchable, but I would not sit in the theater and watch that again. I wouldn't even sit at home and watch that again. It's not something that I would even recommend to anyone. I watched it. It was watchable for me, but it wasn't a great movie. It wasn't good enough for me to recommend to someone else. Now, I know some of you might have a different view of Sinners. Maybe this is your cup of tea. This is your thing. It wasn't my thing. I wasn't, like hyped about it going in, like, oh, I, really have to see this. I wanted to see what everybody else was talking about. And again, I was told that it wasn't straight vampire. It was some other stuff, but I wasn't told what because they didn't want to, ruin it for me. Honestly, they could have told me the story and it wouldn't have been ruined. It would have just been, I think, the same experience. So there's that. So I'm going to leave that movie alone. You guys tell me what you think in the comment section. Please don't come at me too hard. If you really enjoyed the movie, it's you. This is my opinion. This is my view of the movie Sinners. I didn't really care for it. And I spoke to other people because I'm thinking, is it just me? Am I the only one who is not that hyped about this movie? And no, apparently there are a few other people who really didn't care for it. One of my friends gave it like a 4 out of 10. One of them just was like, "Yo, that's trash." It was trash. And I'm not even saying that. If I had to rate it, if I had to, um, I would probably give it a five, maybe a 6 out of 10. That's still kind of high. A 5 out of 10. I would give it a 5 out of 10. It was just it was watchable. It wasn't wowing for me. So yeah, there are a lot of other great movies coming out. I'm gonna definitely go see those. I'll watch those, and yeah, that is my. Oh God, I want to say that's my week. It is only Tuesday. Yeah. All right, guys, listen. I'm gonna go finish my champagne and pineapple juice with mango, and it is a mimosa, I guess, of sorts. They could have did without the mango, but that's all they had. I will finish that. I'm gonna get myself settled and prepared mentally for tomorrow. I've been really amazing on the bike. I've been doing that. I feel great. And yeah, that's it. So I want you guys to remember to always stay intrigued. And until next time, bye.